Maybe this better?
Oh, yes, way better. Okay. How's it going?
It's okay. Tell me if it's really okay to call you in the middle of something. A
No, you're
guy
fine.
named Guilty of something something told me it's okay. And I was like, it seems rude to call him in the middle of discussion. So yeah,
No, you're good. Don't worry
you
about it.
told me I can.
If I if
Ah,
I
okay. You
if
told
I'm
me.
mad, you'll know. Trust. Or maybe you won't. I don't know. Who knows?
Oh, scary.
Yeah. No, you're good.
So, how have you been?
Uh,
Dealing with a lot, I see.
yeah, just
Your friends.
running around, talking to people, doing podcasts. All the fun stuff of being a streamer. How's life been for you guys?
Shitty, pretty bad, awful.
Okay, well,
those those blackouts are really like worse than being attacked by drones and missiles, I must say.
do
Yeah,
are
it's
you are
really.
these like only happening like in the east and is it Kherson or how do you pronounce this?
You mean like my hometown is Kharkiv?
Kharkiv. Okay,
Uh,
sorry. Um,
Kherson is occupied right now
gotcha.
by Russians.
When you
Hmm.
do these extend like all the way west to like to Kiev and stuff, or is this only happening like in the eastern
Yeah,
areas?
I am in Kiev. It's the worst in Kiev.
Oh, geez.
So
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So they basically attacked a bunch of power stations at the 10th of October and this Monday as well. So because of that, we have very huge problems with electricity right now. So those like electricity outages are forced basically by the government to not fuck up the entire supply of energy in the country. So 8 hours today and 8 hours yesterday as well. And they are super random, so you can stuck in an elevator, you cannot like go outside properly, you cannot work. I'm like trying to coordinate conversations with people who are interested in talking with me, and I just cannot
Hmm.
because I just don't know where the electricity will be on. So it's pretty hard. Also, when its outage is in the process of blackout, you cannot like use mobile connection as well. So no mobile internet, and you cannot even call anyone because there's like no mobile connection. So it sucks pretty badly.
Damn.
Yeah, not to mention cold and stuff, but that's that's another story. Yeah, pretty bad actually. So I'm a bit down, not gonna lie. It ruins your life pretty significantly, especially when everything is on electricity, so I cannot like cook anything, like basic shit I just can't do.
Do you guys
And
have are people buying personal generators there? Is that like a thing
that's
in Ukraine or
can you say it again? I was
do you,
distracted by your
is it so like in the in the United States? I imagine that you'd have them. Do you guys ever buy like personal generators you can run with fuel and stuff to like power buildings or?
Yeah, sort of. People are like buying them right now, but it's very kind of hard to use right now. And most like private houses have their own generators,
Hmm.
but like apartment blocks they don't. So they're like totally dependent on the like city electricity that is. Yeah, I actually bought a bio kamin like bio fireplace that is fueled by like biofuel stuff, so it works without electricity, and it's supposed to be here like in a couple of days,
Hmm.
like when there will be no heat for like 8-10 hours, and it's like minus 10 degrees Celsius. It should be pretty bad. So I'm like trying to prepare for that stuff. And yeah, but it does like suck majorly.
Hmm.
So we were warned it will happen, that they will attack power stations and such in the winter and closer to winter, like in fall time. But uh, yeah, part like the best way we can. I like created an
Wait, hold on. Your internet's.
alcohol stove,
Wait, hold on.
so
Okay,
I
or don't.
can like boil. Oh, you're lagging.
Sorry.
Hey,
Oh, hello.
hey, yeah, can you hear me? It
Yep.
was
Oh,
like
yeah. Sorry, I got.
lagging.
Yeah, it lagged for a second.
Oh, yeah. So people are trying to maybe some will just use fire and wood just to keep warm in the winter time. Not the best, but what can you do? It's their new like thing to terrorize us this way, I guess. So makes sense. Most of the attacks were on the power stations, so also water supply as well, which was renewed in Kiev. I already have water, but didn't for 2 days.
Well, what are the?
Gonna be a shitty.
Wait, what did you say? Sorry.
Gonna be a shitty winter.
How long do you feel like I've been occupied with other things? How long I'm sorry, that's not funny. I don't know why I laughed at. How long do you guys see the? I never know how to respond to you because you call me and you're like, my whole civilization is dying, and I like play video games at home, so it feels I don't know what the appropriate level of like response is gonna be, other than saying, okay, gotcha, and everything. Yeah, you're making me feel very bad. Okay, I need you to make more space for my feelings in these conversations. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say.
I see. Yeah, I'll try. I swear.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. What is the feeling for like how much longer this is going to go on for? Is there like a general feeling of that yet? Has that developed yet, or?
Well, not much we can do, obviously. So people are resigned to a pretty shitty winter, which I guess is the only thing we can do, and also prepare in a way, like in the best way you can, to like buy stuff that will power banks, to somehow like survive this shit. But yeah, it's going to be like that entire winter, I think.
Does it
Maybe
feel like
if we get more.
what were you gonna say? Maybe if we get more what?
Maybe if we get more like anti-air stuff, maybe if we will manage to protect ourselves better, then it will be, I think, better. But yeah, as it is now, we like still removing like 70% of Iranian drones before they hit. So it's not that bad, but still the attacks are pretty significant, especially on Mondays. It's their favorite day.
Why
So,
Mondays? Is there a
yeah.
reason for that, or that's just
I'm
it
not
is?
particularly sure. It's just the busiest like kind of time. They also launch terror attacks in Monday morning in like crossroads where the majority of people will be at the time. So like 10 in the morning they will definitely attack a city center or something. So to not to waste their like I guess artillery or not artillery like missiles and drones to give more damage basically is what I'm saying. Yeah. Also, maybe they are drunk and wake up in the Monday morning. So also happen.
Do you do you feel like do you get adequate warning when drone attacks and stuff are happening? Like, are the sirens going off and you've got like a minute or two to hide, or do they happen afterwards generally, or what?
It depends. Sometimes they work like before the attack, minute or two. You maybe have to walk away from like windows and shit. Sometimes it's a couple explosions and then the sirens start to work. So kind of like depends on the situation. Also depends on your proximity to Russia basically. So in Kharkiv it mostly sirens go off after the explosions. So when I was in Kharkiv it'd be like boom boom and then the siren will be and then another boom boom boom, so like that, And in Kiev explosions mostly happen before the siren. Or after the siren. So you have like maybe a time. But Kharkiv is very close to Russia, to Belgorod especially, from where they launch missiles and shit. So sirens just are not quick enough, I guess, to respond.
Gotcha.
But still, if you hear it, it's a good idea to at least go away from the, windows and maybe go to the corridor or the basement if you have it. But sometimes panicking or walking around is worse because some people are starting to like running around and shit and they get striked because of that. So yeah, a friend of mine actually lost his hand like that.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, so he instead of like waiting for in one place, he decided to make a beeline to run to his home basically, and exactly when he was like going, the cluster bombs were dropped in Kharkiv and near my area where I live, and he lost his hand because of that. So yeah.
Not cool.
No, not really, no. We make fundraised money for his cool, like, how do you call it, protest. Like a thing when you get when your hand to replace your real hand with a
prosthetic.
Yeah, that one. So we got a lot of money to buy him a pretty good one from Israel it's like very functional, it moves and stuff. So not a piece of plastic he would have gotten here otherwise. So yeah, but still, you know,
Do you
my
is
father was
your
killed like that.
uh,
So
is your guys' like hospitals and everything? Are they still functional for people that get injured in bombings and everything, or?
yes, of course, they work in crazy shifts, like 24/7, and they are very overwhelmed in terms of the, sheer amount of people who are like injured, wounded. In Kharkiv, especially, it was pretty rough. So
Mm-hmm.
on the day that my father was killed, 33 people were killed in the area.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty rough for them, because you have to do procedures, you have to like give a certificate of death, you have to like sign a bunch of papers, you have to, do some bureaucracy stuff. And also, like, of course, there are people who were injured. For example, when this happened in my father's house, well, a man and his son were driving past the house when the explosion went off. So we don't know them, but they were just like passing by in the car,
Mm-hmm.
and explosion hit them as well. And I remember, like, when my mother, she went, the ambulance came and they were like, where are you injured, what's wrong, what can we do, where it hurts. They were asking my mother, and she was pretty fine. She had some scratches and shit, and her ear was not hearing anything because of the explosion, but she was like, I'm fine, I'm fine. And this man comes out of his car with his son, and his son hand is like that, it's like torn, partially torn apart.
Mm-hmm.
And that young man comes and he's like, help the women, I will wait. So stuff like that. And my mom was like, no, help the guy, his hand is all fucked up apparently. So it's very rough on them. It's their daily life is pretty awful. I don't know if you'll be like yanked off the YouTube for if I tell you in much details what they're dealing with, but it's pretty rough.
Has anything?
Actually, insane story.
Or go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, tell me.
A guy who came to check my mother, and two guys actually from the ambulance who saw my father's body. They like removed it from the balcony, and packaged sounds kind of wrong, but like packaged it in a bag.
Mm-hmm.
So they told us like, at least be grateful that he died like instantly, so he didn't like suffer much.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, well, hard to be pleased with that right now. But he was like, no, for real, be grateful, because he told us a story that he was called, and his colleague, he was very young, by the way, he was like 20 years old maybe. And so he was called with his colleague on the call, because the building apartment block was shelled, and it collapsed, like 3 floors collapsed. And when they entered the floor area, they saw a man, and half of his body was removed. So only half of it was, like,
Yeah.
and he was still alive and screaming like, help me, help me, help me, like nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
And this young man, he was like very distraught. He didn't know what the fuck can he even do for that man.
Yeah.
Obviously nothing. He's about to die. So his elderly colleague was like, leave him and help those who can survive. So yeah, so it's just a little taste of what those people are like dealing with every day, basically. Yeah, they've seen some shit.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, firemen and rescue teams, of course, they like work crazy hours and have like 3, 5, 6 calls per night. Pretty hard overall. So yeah.
Has anything changed significantly since I guess last time? Like, do people feel generally worse or better, or?
I'd say those blackouts like screw people over pretty much more than missiles and drones, which sounds silly, I guess, in a way, but it just ruins your life entirely.
Mm-hmm.
In the modern day times, when everything is dependent on, electricity and internet, and yeah, so people who I talk with are down about that. So they kind of like trying to remain cheerful, but it's really soiled the mood, I
Mm-hmm.
should say, of people. And yeah, we will deal with that. We will like come around, I think. So people are adaptable creatures. So especially us, apparently. so we can deal with a lot of shit, and we will deal with that as well. But yeah, it's kind of hard. I had my sister came by to celebrate our friend's birthday here, so we had like a pretty cool evening all together, like drinking Slavic style, and it was pretty cool. But in the middle of it, the light went off, and also there was like a little strike somewhere. We heard like a boom from far away. So like you're a little bit happy, you like almost forget it, and then boom, it just comes back. So it's really hard to, I guess, maintain the cheerfulness when this is going on, obviously. But I think we have been pretty good about that. So we laugh, we smile, we talk, we like try to live, and that's, I think, better than being depressed all the time.
Yeah, I mean, of course, yeah. I mean, that's that makes sense, yeah.
It's so funny you laugh like oh yeah, it makes sense.
Well, there's not much I can say. I don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to contribute to that. Yeah, I don't know what
I'm not coming for you. It's cute.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah. Geez, are you have a lot of people returned to the country, or do they typically like stay away if it's kind of fucked, or what? I know that you talked about before, like people like leaving and coming back and everything. Like,
Yeah, most people returned a couple months ago and they stayed. But I guess some will leave because of those blackouts, especially people who work via like internet and maybe like IT people, like people who work with, who need like electricity and internet to work. I think it will be very hard for them to withstand this shit and continue working. So maybe they will live again, but I'm not sure. Men can't leave, so there's that. And women maybe be able to live if they want. But I don't think so. I think people will remain. We've been through some shit, and this will not make us, I talk to people and they're like, yes, this sucks. This really like ruins my mood, but I will still remain and do my part, what I can. And, volunteering and shit does not require light that much. Me and my volunteer friend are going to buy like light that pretty like lights the room pretty well without electricity for the volunteers who cook for the soldiers, prepare meals for them and stuff like that, so they can continue working with no light. So also like generators, like you said, and power banks that are pretty strong, so they can still work and still assist our guys, because maybe it's uncomfortable for us, but it's more comfortable for them because they're on the front. Nothing is more uncomfortable than that. So each time you like mope how bad your life is without electricity and internet, think about the soldiers on the front lines. That's the motto.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not to mention people in occupied areas. So yeah.
Does it feel like progress is still going like as well as it was before, or do things feel like they're kind of like coming to a standstill, or?
Well, after this very like successful liberation and counteroffensive in Kharkivska Oblast, it was like pretty much liberated in a week, basically. So it was very like cheerful for everyone. I watched like literally my region being liberated, like in online, basically searching for the progress for each village that was liberated, and people were like, oh, my village was liberated, oh, my house was liberated, stuff like that. So people were happy about it. But now the progress is a little bit like stunned, I'd say, and people were waiting on counteroffensives in Kherson, which you mistake all the time with my home city.
Kharkiv, and, yeah, sorry, listen, they're all K names. Yeah. Okay.
You at least don't call it like Dylan used to pronounce it like croissant, like like a dessert. I always love when he says it. Whatever. So basically, we waited for that to happen, but it kind of like didn't. But we are not sure. Maybe it will after winter or earlier. We don't know like the whole thing about the strategies, because obviously they don't announce them, when they will start counteroffensive in which areas. So yeah, had not expected.
Do people feel like they're still getting like an appropriate amount of support from like Western countries or other European countries, or?
Yeah, we after those crazy missile strikes at 10th of October, which was I think the largest attack all over the country since February 24. So it was like, I think 88 or 92 missile strikes, something like that, crazy. So after that, we received new weapons, new arms, and they are on the way. I shouldn't say received, but they're like on their way. And yeah, so more anti-air stuff from Germany as well, from United States, and so yeah, I think the support is here, and hopefully it will remain in winter and after. So yeah, people told me that it's not on the news as much, like Ukraine,
Yeah.
which I think is normal, honestly. So because people like generally like watch some disaster event happen with their full attention for like 2 months maybe, and then they like sort of, go on about their lives. I think
Yeah.
it's normal. Yeah, so I'm not like very like offended by it or anything. So I think it's normal. Like humans don't want to watch, gruesome shit. Although your TVs don't show gruesome shit, to be fair.
Yeah.
They show like nice stuff about the wars, like saving kittens from burning buildings and cute stuff like that. No man without his torso screaming. So yeah, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine, and I also always remind myself to be grateful for what they give us already. You guys, I mean, and everyone else, because they could just easily did not do that. So yeah, and then we will be very much fucked. So I pretty much sometimes become like a little bit salty, like like more, give us more, stuff like that, because of course I want it, and everyone does. But then I think about what would have happened if you didn't, and then I like, oh come on, like all right, they gave us what they give us is better than what we expected, to be honest. So yeah, and for that I am of course like feel fine with what is going on, I guess. What can you do?
Yeah, true.
Hmm?
Oh no, I'm just thinking. I'm not sure. What else? Yeah, anything else? What do you want to talk about? What do you want to chat about? I don't know if I have any
I
questions.
actually wanted to ask your like opinion about stuff. People say I should talk with you about things not related to war,
Okay.
and also they say I should call you, but I feel so rude to just call you like that, like I did right now. I shouldn't have done it, I think.
No, no,
The
no, no.
person.
I was just joking. You're always gonna call. Yeah, I'm always joking.
Oh
Don't
yeah.
worry. Yeah.
You told me like you told me I think in the chat or something like you can drop by like anytime, and I did not think it meant like calling. I think it was like message me or something if you want. But yeah,
No,
so
it's all
what
good.
I
As long as I'm
wanted
not doing
to
anything.
talk
Yeah, you're good.
about. Oh, okay. I waited until you finished the very important chart about Kanye's mental health.
Yeah, of
So
course, yeah.
I'm polite like that.
Yeah.
Sorry,
What is that?
a bit of booze.
Oh, booze. Gotcha.
Can you see that?
Nope.
It's a cider.
Okay.
Cider. Cider, I think in English. Yeah.
Cider is what we call it.
Yeah. Pretty good actually. From plums.
Nice. Okay. I hate alcohol, so
Oh yeah. You hate it,
yeah.
you said. Like all of it.
Yeah, I'm like a child. I like hot chocolate.
Okay, cute. You actually look like a guy that likes hot chocolate, I gotta say.
Okay, I don't know what you mean by that, but okay.
It's the curls, I think. Like, the hair.
Oh,
Like,
gotcha. All right.
dreamy curls.
I'll shave my head tomorrow.
So
Thank
yes.
you.
So I then have to revoke your card. I actually told your guys, DGGers, that talking to you feels like not talking to an American person. So
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
yes. It feels like talking to I don't know, like Eastern European or Slavic person, something like that.
Why? Do I come off as really racist, or what do you mean by? I'm just kidding. What do you mean by that? Why?
Of course.
Wait, what do you mean by it feels like an Eastern European person?
No, you feel like with the way you talk, it's like very straight, kind of forward, like honest as well, without like sugarcoating, and also your humor is a bit like ours, I think.
Dry, gotcha.
So the jokes and the way you joke, I think. So it feels like very different from many other American people I talked with. So in that regard, I thought you were like a Slavic bro, but apparently you're not because you don't drink. So
Yeah,
the card is
absolutely not.
revoked.
But
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry to disappoint you.
Nah, not really disappointed, but I should have known better, you know. But yeah, basically, you don't feel like an American to me, which sounds strange, I guess, but it's just the way you talk. And yeah, and you don't seem to be like very constipated in terms of like humor and shit, which I also kind of like.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, I know what you mean.
what I wanted to talk about actually is what the fuck is going on with your like left people? Holy shit. I like received so much weird ass shit from them. Like straight up disgusting comments, genocidal stuff, like pro Soviet shit, Nazi horror, mocking my father's death, which nothing, I don't care about any of that. Like, go off, dudes. But you know, it's just so weird. They, and I also wanted to ask, how do you feel about people in the West, like in America, left-leaning people calling everyone Nazis? Isn't like dangerous to you?
Yeah, I
And
mean, obviously, I
yeah,
think it's a really bad thing, and it's really dumb that they do it. There's a lot of stuff that kind of this is like the Ukraine war is it sits in a very interesting part of like American cultural stuff going on. To where like you've got like a lot of like anti-imperial leftists, you've got a lot of anti-imperial rightists, conservatives, to where basically just like, sorry, hold on, I'm hearing an echo myself, and it's making it hard to think.
okay.
Oh, sorry. Sometimes I echo through your speakers. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's good now. Okay, sorry. No, it's
Oh,
good.
you. I think you froze.
Oh,
Or
hello.
is it me?
Testing, testing. Do you hear me?
Ah, what happened?
Thank God. No, I'm just kidding. Fuck. So, I don't know what to say sometimes. Like when I'm hearing somebody tell me about the horrible state of their country, I'm like, okay. You guys have to burn wood? Okay, makes sense. Yeah. If your shit's getting bombed, yeah, I can understand that. Okay. I don't know what to. Oh God, what if she like died and I'm like making fun of her? Never mind. Let's chill. Should I be like, nah, nah, dead ass, no power?